So, Blake, is it too late to make this a RuPaul's Drag Race recap show? Because Bud.
Actually, at this point, we'll probably have... Do you know the amount of happiness we had when we started covering AEW? I think we could go back to that if we started covering...
Except now we're just like, fucking, Miss Cracker did not deserve the villain edit. Fuck you guys. Welcome to Fight Boys, the show about professional and not so professional wrestling. I'm your host, the bad boy of podcasting, Scottye Moore.
And I'm just so tired, Blake Tanner.
And not with us is a boy who's very tired as well, the Dylan. Dylan was straight up like, I can't do the show. And I was like, yeah, I get it.
Yeah, I was halfway between asking just like, can we just cancel this week again? Because it's, with all of this stuff going on, it's just so hard to cover the news in any way, shape, or form with our fun, like, boner jokes.
Yeah, I'm looking at our show notes right now, and I believe about 70% to 80% of it is all bad. Because last week we thought we were, I guess, in the middle, maybe? The middle of the hashtag speaking out and everybody coming out thing. No. No.
The thing that really gets me about this is, I think Dylan said it a couple weeks ago, we were so damn cocksure about ourselves that this had been weeded out of the wrestling business for the most part, and it is not. It is so systemically, like, predatory, and it really just makes me sad.
I mean, it comes down to the fact, and I realized this the other day, what pro wrestling at its essence is everyone, at least in WWE, this is the mindset, thinking, I'm the best. I'm the greatest wrestler alive, and I deserve the World Heavyweight Championship, and if I don't get a shot at it on my own, I'll take it by force. That's fucked up! That's fucked up mental thinking, but that's how it is!
That's the thing, too. It is, like, in the golden age, that's how everybody really thought. And that's just how several fucking people have just always thought, apparently, and they're just good at hiding it.
And there are still people in the industry to this day who will look at you and be like, if you come to WWE and think that you shouldn't be World Heavyweight Champion, you don't deserve to be there. And it's like, no, fuck that. Like, that's a spot in the show for a very specific Roman, John Cena, Kofi. That's a celebration of a very long, good career. That's what that's for. If you go in day one and think, that should be mine because I'm a good dude, it's fucked up.
Or when booking decides to shove someone down your throats, that's what happens. We're
going to get into that with the end of show discussion because I've got theories and other shit we can get into, but more names have gotten called out. Names last week that we were like, because I remember last week when I started the show being like, well, there's not really anything tangible. Because for me, as privileged of a white man thing, this is to say, I was looking for receipts. I was looking for DMs. I was looking for screen caps. I was looking for at least a modicum of something. And I didn't find any for when it came to Marty or Joey. And so I was like, okay, maybe their name just got accidentally put in there. Maybe someone had a problem. And then Joey Ryan trended on Twitter a full day.
And there have been cases of like where speaking out people have called others down for trying to like settle a personal vendetta by using the speaking out. But like none of them have gotten big. Like they've all gotten shouted down pretty quickly.
Yeah, I saw something online and it was like, number of people who have been accused of rape, and it was only like 20% of them actually ended up anything happening to them. Then the other like not filled it up to 98%, and then the last 2% they were like, these were the ones that were falsely accused. And that's when I said, oh shit. Did you see Candace responding to Joey, by the way? Because I saw some people come out against Candace. Some people were like, well, back in the day, Candace would groom people for Joey. She would do, but I haven't seen anything really come of that. It's kind of like you were saying, like the false accusations don't get that far, but I'm not calling them false. I'm just saying I haven't seen much of it. Candace came out and said, I'm mortified. I do not and never have condoned such horrible actions. I have zero tolerance for it. To the women he did this to, my heart breaks for you. I trusted this person. Reading the stories and learning how he acted sickens me, especially because you all trusted him. I can't imagine how you felt. For every woman and man who has been brave enough to speak out, I have nothing but love and respect for you. And that was just one of, because Candace is a human embodiment of a cupcake. And I'm like, don't make her. Did you see the Keith Lee story?
I did see the Keith Lee story. That's a fucking scary thing to imagine. Like, just like yourself going through. You just like,
because for the most part, we're not gonna list out the accusation. We're just gonna say, hey, this was a shithead person. But the Keith Lee one was like shocking, because it shows it can happen to anybody. Because you look at Keith Lee and you're like, that's a big boy, nobody gonna try to fuck with the big boy. It's like, no, Keith Lee got drugged and then woke up in a hotel room. Like, it was beyond insane, and it reminds you, like, oh, this can literally happen to anybody. We've got Ghazi in chat saying he does not want us to go on the rant that he would go on tonight, and I'll play part of it if he would like, because I know what he's talking about. Because fuck Matt Riddle.
Oh yeah. So I've not kept up with this. I've not kept like up as much with all of these past just seeing the initial accusations, but the Matt Riddle story, I knew that it was happening, so I'm not sure what went on with that.
Well, there were already abuse and similar very negative allegations coming towards him, but the one that kind of connects closest to us, I guess, mostly through Ghazi, was through Jamie Senegal, who apparently Matt was cheating on his wife with Jamie. And so Jamie was providing all of the receipts, like every fucking piece of info you could get, including, because a lot of people are like, that's not real. That's not fucking real. Matt Riddle ain't gay. Matt Riddle ain't gay. And Jamie's like, it's right fucking here. And these innate idiotic stands of Matt Riddle, like even when Jamie took a screen video of them going to the conversation and scrolling through it, they still wouldn't let up, and it led Jamie down a bad path. And that shows like how we're all wrestling fans. We are fanatic. We are marks, for lack of a better word, but this just shows how dangerous markdom can get when all of these fucking idiots who were like, Matt Riddle would never fucking do that, man. Did you not see where Matt Riddle posted a fucking picture of his lawyer saying Matt Riddle didn't do that? Does that not vindicate Matt Riddle? And so Jamie had to go dark. Like, Jamie had to go dark on Twitter because they were enduring all of this fucking bullshit. According to Ghazi, there were death threats. It was horrible, the things that this victim had to go through. Like, all of the hoops that they had to jump through just to vindicate another victim, because it wasn't like Jamie coming out and being like, I was victimized as well. It was them saying, hey, if you think this guy's good, he's not. This is what's happened. And then they'd be like, well, you were the one who helped him cheat. And they were like, yeah, okay, fuck, I don't care. I'm saying he's not a good person. And it just kept leading down worse and worse paths of bigger and bigger assholes coming out. And it,
yeah, that's marked them for you, especially when it comes to like when it affects Mark masculinity is one of the most toxic types of masculinity, if that makes any sense. because I feel like this is just all of that bullheadedness coming from their own just bullshit. And like you see it in politics too. People will defend their guy up until the very end, no matter what you put in front of them, even if it's their guy literally saying fuck these people.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, like, the same thing happens with other sports. It's not into like assault or negative things like that, but it goes to like, the fucking Bulls won the Super Bowl. I know that's not a real thing, but still, Bulls won. We're gonna destroy the streets of Chicago. Let's fucking go, baby.
Oh, the Bulls won? The basketball team? They beat the football?
Yes.
You fucking.
And we need to talk about a few other negative ones. The one that kind of hurt me the most was someone we've talked about on the show before, Mark Adam Haggerty. And I think that was the one that hurt, other than maybe one other one that we'll talk about later. But I think Mark hurt the most because he was such an advocate and he was such a person who would come out like... It stung so much because, like I've said in the past, I was taking his social media classes, and like he made a joke on one of them saying like, you probably will never do anything problematic, so we don't have to worry about making an apology after doing something problematic. And it was just like a joke. And I just thought about it and went like, wow, you fucker, you fucking knew, and you still were making jokes like that. And this happened with Joey as well. This happened with Mark. They just decided, because like there were some people like fucking Riddle who were just like, hey, my lawyer said I didn't do it, so I didn't fucking do it. My name is Matt Riddle. But then there was Joey and Mark and a few others who were like, I'm just gonna delete my Twitter and run away. And I'm like, that is not the fucking way to handle this right now. You made a fucking mistake, you own up to it, and you try to get better. Like, I know people still will give him shit to this day, but for me, Adam Blampier is the ultimate in like, I really fucked up. I'm gonna go away. And he went away for fucking years. And the only reason he came back is because he loves wrestling. He wants to talk about wrestling. And I'm assuming Wrestle Talk gave him some money. But like, Blampier was gone and he didn't want to come back. He was very much like, I used my platform in a negative way. I don't deserve it anymore. And he left until a completely other company was like, hey, come back. It's okay. And I know, I believe people can change. I believe I've done shitty things in the past. I have to believe people can change and become better. And that's why with guys like Blampier, I'm like, you did a fucking terrible thing, but I can tell you have worked to change. It's the same thing I'm getting from Sammy Guevara. Because Sammy made some fucking rough comments.
We know that Sammy made some real bad jokes, although his was like real because he spoke personally to Sasha after all of that was happening and apologized personally.
Also, I've been on podcasts before with douchebags and like fell into a douchebag mindset. He was on the whole effing show and fuck those guys, but that's a story for a different day. That still doesn't forgive what he said, but you could tell Sammy was like, I'm gonna go off for a few. Like, I'm sure when he heard that he's suspended without pay and his pay is going to, I think, a women's shelter in fucking Jacksonville, I'm sure he was like, yeah, that's what I deserve for what I've done. You could tell Sammy was like fucked up about it, as opposed to fucking Jim Cornette, who was like, hey buddy, you fucking know that a screenshot shouldn't have the same profile picture that I changed to in the recent 2 weeks. Like, no, motherfucker, it's gonna change the conversation. It's such a bullshit excuse. And then
also on most, if you do like, since if you've got all the records and you do just take a screen grab going back through it, it will have the most recent profile picture, bud. I'm sorry, that's just my little box.
No, I was trying to say that, but you explained it for me. And here's how Jim fucking responded. I pushed the people I should have and half the people I shouldn't have, but everybody got a shot, wasn't giving out on any fears or favors for anything, and it's never been said before in the 15 years since. Only problem I had when it came to pushing, but which, by the way, it has been said before. I've heard this before. It's been discussed before. It's just never been elevated like it has recently. Only problem I had when it came to pushing talent was when they were telling me to push the talent was when they... Wait, what the fuck is this sentence? The only problem I had when it came to pushing talent was when they were telling me to push the talent, was when they were telling me to push the talent. I'm in a fucking loop. What has happened? That had never been in front of an audience before. That got a little unpalatable, but that had nothing to do with the accusations of which we speak. Like... It's such him trying his best to be like, I'm not a bad guy at all. I never gave nobody no preferential treatment. Even though there's shit there, like, we can read it. We can fucking see it. You can't hide, Jim.
No, and I think part of this is just, you just said it too, but it's like, some of this stuff, like this really shitty stuff, we knew about, we talked about, but like, nothing really elevated it. Because, I think it's, a lot of people were scared to bring forth their stories, like their personal stories. Most of it you'd hear is like rumors, this happened to this person, or this, Cornette did this to them, or they're being groomed by them. And now that, like, you have people coming together who could share their stories without fear, you're seeing this kind of response. And, I mean, fuck you, Cornette. All right.
Yeah, and then I think this is also kind of revealing the type of company each company is. There's one that we're going to talk about ad nauseum later, but for now, like, you see WWE, and they were like, we're still going to debut Riddle and have him beat AJ Styles, but we'll get rid of Jack Gallagher because we don't have plans for Jack Gallagher. That's literally what they said. They were like, we can't make money with him, so fuck it. Yeah, we'll throw him away as a publicity stunt.
But they kept, Matt Riddle.
Yeah, and then you've got Impact, who apparently I've read a lot about some major issues when it comes to Impact as a whole and abuse, similar to another company we'll talk about later, but they at least were like, no more Joey Ryan, no more the Christ brother, because apparently one of them's not a bad guy, so the shitty Christ brother, and Elgin's been suspended, but that also does feel a little bit like, we had plans for Elgin, actually, so we're gonna just suspend him for a few and then have him come. And they knew about Elgin. Everybody fucking knew about Elgin.
I hate also that, like, what informs this, like you said, with them having plans, is also on a certain level, like, the more talented the wrestler, the more they just like, nah, we don't want to give them up, though.
Yeah. And then, oh God, Ring of Honor. This one rang of when, you remember the Jay Lethal Hendrix situation?
Yes. Oh, yeah.
This is literally, I think they fucking copy and pasted this. At Ring of Honor, we pride ourselves on the respectful and inclusive environment we have built, one that ensures all employees can work in a place where they feel safe and respected. We take these matters extremely seriously and have a zero tolerance policy when it comes to this type of behavior. Ring of Honor has launched an immediate investigation, my least favorite fucking word when it comes to this, into the claims made against its currently contracted wrestlers. We'll update you on our investigation once it concludes. Look, we just signed Marty to a big thing, and Marty's like the booker, so we can't really do anything, so we're just gonna put out a shitty little fucking not apology.
Yeah, that's some boilerplate nonsense. Yeah. That's really all it is.
And then AEW is at least trying. They were like, the Sammy situation, they're like, we have been aware of the comments made by Sammy Guevara. He is indefinitely suspended. Jimmy's my favorite one. And I know a lot of people are like, Jimmy should have been fired. Jimmy should have been destroyed. But, and it sucks, Jimmy is still a person. And we've talked about it on the show, Jimmy is fucked up. Something is wrong in Jimmy Havoc's head. And for a while, it's a fun joke. It's a fun, oh, he'll do anything because he's a crazy guy. But I think AEW was made aware of it, and we're like, we're going to send him to rehab. We're going to get him as much help as he can get. And when he returns, we will reevaluate at that point if he needs to be employed still. So it's not immediately damning Jimmy because of, hey, he's got a mental health issue, so throw him out.
Right, because we can't forget about mental health in these times specifically. And I think that before you can, and this is a shitty little coin that we're dealing with, but
because they're on the other side is the victims who, like, if we want to talk about mental health, their mental health has also been wrecked because of this, and the fact that AEW is like, he's an abuser, but also like, it's still a little skeezy, but not like to the level of the other companies.
Because when it comes to mental health, you've got to evaluate the state of mind a person is in before they can be held accountable for their actions.
Yeah, and from what I've read, Jimmy was an alcoholic, and the majority of what Jimmy did was when he was profoundly drunk. And that's not saying like more punishment.
It's not okay. But it's just what happened.
It's a difficult situation. Like, because I want Jimmy to get help and I want Jimmy to get better. We love Jimmy as a performer, but also he has done some unforgivable shit. And like, I think mental health, that argument can only be used so much. And I know I'm somewhat contradicting myself, but like, I don't know where I sit on the Jimmy Havoc fucking fence at this point, because it's a very thin fence to be on.
Yeah, which is, I think, why AEW is doing what they're doing, because you gotta know where you're sitting on that, and if he's not, he could still get terminated. Like at the end of it, if they can see it and like do a full psychiatric evaluation and realize like, no, he's still fucked up, he could be gone. But who knows? Oh fuck. Oh, also, another AEW thing. Did you see where they're re-editing BTE? I did see that. I heard they deleted some episodes and are trying to re-upload them with the edits.
Yeah, they've started with episode 199. So, of course, like the big lead up to 200. And from what I've seen, they cut any references to Joey or Marty out of it. So they're at least going back and trying to, and a lot of people are like, but they're erasing the history. Marty was an important part. Joey Ryan was an important part of this. Yeah, they were. But at the end of the day, they made their fucking choices. They made their bed and they're lying in it. And
I mean, come on, like Benoit was such a great performer, but I think WWE did the right thing by just like taking anything like that took his name, just erasing it.
Well, and it also comes down to the fact of like, not only the victims of Joey and Marty, but the people who have been similarly victimized, who now can kind of look at them as, oh, they're one of the bad guys. We love BTE. We want to keep watching it. And if they're on that show, it's going to remove that love and that enjoyment we've had in the past. Going back and re-editing it is the best fucking option you can do at this point, to have people still enjoy this great thing you created without it going downhill.
Yeah, and this is a really diluted comparison, but I think that it's the same way as like, if you see an old TV show or something, an old movie that uses like a skeezy phrase or words that we don't and shouldn't use. Like, whenever I see those, I'm like, oh. And it's one of those things that takes you out of the moment, takes you out of the enjoyment of what you're doing.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I mean, even in my case, like the first book in the Queasel Corp series had a joke that was not mine. It was one of the other quote-unquote writers that was like, that's a funny thing, we should put that in there. And I was like, okay. And then I put it in. Now that I've grown as a person, I'm like, I should have never let that happen. And now I think yesterday I took all the books down. I loved those books. I loved that series. I dedicated multiple hours of my life to producing that book series. But if it would make someone else uncomfortable, I don't want it out anymore. I don't. So like, as of now, the only book out there is BS versus the Gods. Go buy it now.
Wait, there it is. There's the fucking plug. We hit it. We talking about all of this shit that's going on, how we can help the victims, how we need to look on these fucking assholes, and boom, there's the plug. We hit the plug.
No, honestly, donate to fucking RAIN at this, donate to RAIN. If there are any women's shelters near you, donate to them. Anything to help the victims right now. I know I can't turn off Shieldmaster, but I'm gonna try, or at least, no, what it is I can't turn off Shieldmaster, but I will use his powers for good. That's where I'm at right now. Donate to RAIN.
You gotta know how desperate the situation is for that to happen, y'all.
Yeah. It's like there's a darkness within me, but I will turn the darkness towards the light and use it. Let's talk about.
Yeah. Is there anything else you want to talk with relating to speaking out, or can we start talking about COVID?
Oh fuck no, because we're gonna have to talk about that later too. Heel of the week, baby. But no, we're gonna go back to the speaking out well, but we've already gone quite a bit, and we just need something because we're so exhausted. WWE news. Hey, this is the fucking ultimate bullshit of all time, but I think Hunter just fucking realized. Ghazi says I'm like Darth Vader killing Palpatine. Vader, is this a goof you're doing? No!
This isn't a bit, is it? Oh!
Yeah.
It's a big chair. It's perfect.
It's perfect for my tiny little body. Oh, please, go watch Worth Eye Kids fucking videos. They're so good. It has nothing to do with wrestling. But I think someone just now told Hunter that Fyter Fest was happening, and he went, fuck. Vince, can we have Great American Bash back? Yeah, sure, why not? Yeah, we're gonna need it for the next few weeks, my bud. And so the last fucking minute, they were like, the next 2 weeks of NXT is the Great American Bash. I'm like, I wonder why they did that.
I wonder why they did that. It's almost like they're trying to compete with, NXT is full on competing with AEW and not doing too great.
No, but I will say this. They killed him this week. I think they got 100,000 more people and were beating in demographics, which that's actually impressive given the fact that they didn't NXT it that much this week. They didn't. The only really big deal was the triple threat, the Keith Lee, Gargano, Finn Balor, which actually would be enough to make me swap over to NXT now that I think about it.
Yeah. That would be pretty fun to watch, actually. So that's what WWE's doing. What else other bullshit are they doing?
Let's see if we want to talk. Oh, you remember last week when I fucking talked about Charlotte and being like, I'm here every fucking week. I'm here.
And now she's not.
Literally a week after that, she's like, I'm gonna be gone until SummerSlam, y'all. I'm mad because initially when I first read it, I'm like, oh, she'll be gone for a while. And then they're like, nah, just till SummerSlam. I'm like, what the fuck happened? And I'm like, I don't care. They could be like, she has a severed cerebral cord. There's cerebral fluid on the ground right now. When will she be back? 2 weeks. Okay.
Oh god, this is actually another situation where the fucking the internet wrestling cartel, whatever the fuck we call it, the online speculators just annoyed the piss out of me because they're like, oh, Charlotte's going in. It's for surgery. Not going to be major, though. It's like, oh, she's going to have her breast repaired, damn it. And it's like, it doesn't fucking matter, dude.
And it's her shoulder. It's literally her shoulder. They've talked about it. And also, we can eat a little crow this week because motherfucker, Asuka won! Asuka finally fucking beat Charlotte Flair!
Asuka beat Charlotte.
Yes! Yes!
This is going to be our one happy moment here, so let's just take a moment, just revel in that. Let's revel in it like Asuka did when she slapped that poster of Charlotte off the wall.
Oh, yeah, when she was just like, you see this? Charlotte Flair? I beat her! And it was like the most cathartic moment because usually, like, WWE would not call back to the fact that it's like Asuka was the only person that Charlotte was the only person to ever beat Asuka, Charlotte this, Charlotte that, and not give this good of a payoff. Nah, they did this week. They're like, just film Asuka going around backstage and fucking going crazy.
Fuck, it doesn't matter. Just have fun with it. God, we need more fun.
Please. Oh, FMA says Asuka is now tapped out all of the 4 horsewomen. Oh, yeah. That's cool.
Good on you.
Let's see. If we're going to stick with Raw, hey, you know a couple of weeks ago when I was like, Vince McMahon doesn't like building to a match that's not going to happen. Apparently he's fine with it, even if the match is gonna be 8 months away, cause Edge cut the greatest fucking promo of all time. Like, I was going to my room, my parents were watching Raw, and I saw him, and he's just like, and this was one of those moments where not having a crowd really pays off, cause like, that silence is there. And like the minute Edge said, I wasn't able to pick up my daughters on Father's Day because of you, is the moment I said, this is about to get fucking juicy. This is gonna get so good.
I mean, Edge showing off like he's always been a great fucking phenomenal promo. And it's just, he's gotten better with age.
And he did one of my favorite things, which is not call out the family, but talk about personal life. When he was just like, you're going to go home and your kids are going to ask you, Daddy, what's wrong? And you're not going to be able to look in your wife's eyes and she'll know why. It's because that I'm in your head. There are voices in your head, Randy, and I'm going to be louder than all of them because you awoke an evil. You woke up the rated R superstar. And then I came. I was like, yes! Oh, he did it! Oh, fuck!
God, you know what? I'm willing to wait 8 months for the greatest wrestling match, too.
Yeah, because holy shit, dude. Because it's one of those things you like, rated R superstar. It's a fun nickname, whatever. But, like, it's a nickname he earned. It's a nickname he earned when he fucked Lita in the middle of a wrestling ring. It's what he earned when he cashed in on a bruised and bloodied John Cena to become champion. Like, it is a dark, manipulate, ultimate opportunist side of him, and that's not who he's been. Like, he was like, I've been the PG superstar ever since coming back, and then you fucked up, Randy. You fucked
Randy.
Up.
Hey, Randall, you fucked up.
And I love it because, like, WWE is now being forced to do long-term booking with Edge and Orton. They are forced to do it. And I wouldn't mind if every week it was just like Edge in a cast breaking into Randy's house, like one arm flinging, like beating him up.
It's like, I'm here, Randy, except no, I'm not, because I'm in your dreams.
Yeah. Oh, wait, we can't actually. Randy's not dealing with Edge right now because, well, it's a big show. They didn't have anything booked for this segment, so it's a big bad show tonight.
Hey, he took out the ninjas a couple weeks ago, and now he's got not shit to do. Big show.
I'ma fight Randy Orton for no apparent reason. Fuck yeah. Yeah, man, I love Big Show to death, and he's definitely, like, gotten into shape. He's, like, a good dude, but he's just kind of getting thrown into shit. They were like, hey, we don't have anyone to fight McIntyre after WrestleMania. Well...
As a matter of fact, I would be just happier if they showed segments of the Big Show just running his D&D campaign. Because that would be great.
Oh, speaking of McIntyre, hey, we don't have anybody to fight this guy till SummerSlam. What's old Ziggles doing? Bring him over. Why? Well, we gave him AJ, so we had to trade. And in exchange for one AJ Styles, you can get a Dolph Ziggler and a fucking Robert Roode. You can get both of them.
God, I forgot about Ziggler. Like, full on just blank of my mind. What's he doing now? Oh, okay, he's fighting Drew.
Yeah, and I like it because it's like, hey, we used to be friends and shit. So like that's why we're fighting. It's because we used to be friends, but now we're not because it's WWE. Fuck it, I don't care.
Yeah. All right.
Last bit of WWE fucking news. By WWE backstage. By the only opportunity I got to see CM Punk in the
They're just canning it.
It's not being canned, but it is no longer a weekly television program. It is now only happening after, like, right before SummerSlam, right before the fucking Extreme Rules. It's only going to be like once every so and so. And you know Punk don't want to do that. Punk don't want to go in there for that.
Yep, that's, you know what? Just as quickly as he came back into our hearts, he's fucking gone again. Thanks, y'all.
2020's getting clever now. 2020's getting clever. They're like, we're not just gonna hurt you now. Now we're gonna tease you, give you some stuff you want, and then take it away. What could you mean, 2020? Remember Edge? He's gone. CM Punk? He's gone. It's all fucking getting taken away.
Yep. Oh, hey, you remember Dolph Ziggler? He's back.
Oh, good. Excellent. Is he gonna have like the fortitude to want to put on like the kind of epic matches that he had back in the day with the World Heavyweight Championship? Absolutely not. He's so tired. He's so fucking done.
And you know what? I know you want something great. I know you want to have something brought back, something that's going to be magnificent and massive.
And speaking of, Dolph's in the camp of, I would like to say, Bad News Barrett, because Stu Bennett did an interview recently, and Stu, he's like the guy for the NWA, he's like one of their voice guys. He came out, one thing, he was like, I'm by no means retired. By no phrase of that word am I retired. And I'm like, fuck yeah, more Stu Bennett. But also, he was talking about, because like he hasn't had the impact that Cody did, and he called it out. He's like, I compare it a lot to Cody, because when Cody left, he had a full-on fucking plan. Cody knew exactly what he wanted to do. Meanwhile,
he had a fucking list.
I was just mad. And I was like, okay, that's understandable. That's the shitty thing. WWE breaks you down so much that unless you are a Cody or a John Moxley, you're just mad when you leave. Like, you're almost disenfranchised with wrestling as a whole.
Yeah.
And it hurts you.
I've like tried to bring up, I just want to say as a quick aside, every time I try to talk about Moxley now, I almost call him Moxwell because that's the name of my D&D character, and his nickname is also Mox.
God, you piece of shit. Not much coming out of AEW that we're not going to discuss in Baby Faces of the Week, but I will say they fucking botched that Lucha Bros return, because that would have been phenomenal.
Yeah, I heard it could have gone better.
What had happened is FTR got done beating SCU, pretty good match. QT wasn't there because he was exposed to someone with COVID, so they had to do a last-minute swap. Fantastic match. FTR reminded everybody once again, hey, we're fucking good at this. And then, the fucking New England Sailors come up in the truck. And they are in FTR's truck. Butcher's driving it, looking like the angriest grandpa, and Blade's on top. And I forgot Blade's actually a pretty decent promo. And he's like, if you take a step further, I'm going to have the Butcher rip your truck in half. And I believed him. And then it cuts back. And the Lucha Bros are just already in the ring. They're just in the ring looking. And then it cuts away again. Cuts away, and then Blades keeps talking, keeps going. Even commentary is like, y'all, who the fuck behind him? Who the fuck behind him right now? And then finally, at that point, I was like, oh, fuck yeah, we're going to get FTR versus Lucha Bros. But we're not. It's Lucha Bros and Butcher and Blade versus Bucks and FTR, which I get, fuck it, whatever. But But, like, could you imagine the pop if it was fucking, because at the end he's like, you're gonna be fake. You and the Bucks, who are the feuding over being the best team, are gonna take on the two actual best teams, Butcher and Blade, and some men with zero fear, which is really when the music should have hit, and then you're like, Cero, Miedo, and then they come out, fucking huge pop. No, instead, even FTR at points were looking back, like, they're fucking behind us. Like, we know who we're fighting. Like, we get it. But then they tried to build it like a return, even though they were already there.
It's like they're there. And it was so great just hearing, because beforehand I got the news that Penta was back in Florida because he couldn't leave Mexico for a long time. And then there's just that.
Yeah, it was weird. Also, speaking of weird, Cody versus Jake Hager is the least excited I've ever been for a Cody match in my entire fucking life. And I know it's because I guess the Hager accusations didn't get enough traction. And also the person who originally tweeted it never confirmed it was Hager. So, like, that didn't get enough traction to do anything. But I just don't like Hager in general. Like, I liked him when he was I liked him as part of, like, the Inner Circle. And he was almost a parody of the big guy. Like, he was a parody of, like, the strong, of a silent type. And it was fun because it was a joke. But now they're trying to make him serious, and I fucking can't stand him. Or his wife, who just threw water in Cody's face and strolled away. Not really anything added to it. It was just like, hey, water in your face. Fuck, I'm sorry, I forgot that bit. We were supposed to do it earlier, but that's whatever.
I wish Brandy was there so she could have slapped her. Sorry.
Speaking of, I'm falling in love with Brandy Rhodes because I'm watching a lot of Shot of Brandy on YouTube. It's such a good fucking show, dude. Tony Schiavone's my new favorite person because
Schiavone's a great dude, though.
Oh, no. On his episode, Brandy was like, I heard you like pina coladas. And he's like, I do. I enjoy a good pina colada. Brandy loaded him the fuck up. Like the most alcoholic pina colada I've ever seen. Tony drank 3 of them. And at the end of each episode, Brandy's like, we're supposed to drink what we have left in our glasses. And Tony's like, yeah, no, I can't. I'll make you a fucking shot then, I guess. Tony was just down in this liquor.
It's like, I finished it already, Brandy. Can I just have another, I guess?
Yeah. Oh, also, because Dylan's not here, I can talk about the fact that Britt Baker is now the best part of Dynamite for me. Just like all the anonymous notes that she hands up. What was the one I sent you guys earlier? I can't remember it off the top of my head.
Oh, I'd have to pull it up to bring it out. But like she's been acting so great in her little bubble.
Oh, yeah, her little Michael, the coal mine, I believe is what they called it.
Yes, it is. Britt Baker was waving at FTR in her glass box, and they just ignored her. She looked pissed and then writes a note that says, FTR can GTFO for not saying hi to me.
FMA called it her Pope Mobile. Fuck yes, that's so good. Oh god, yeah, Britt Baker. I done told all y'all when Britt Baker turned heel, she was gonna come into her own, and I was right. I knew that girl had it in her all along.
Yeah, her heel persona is so great because not only does it give her personality, whereas her babyface persona just didn't have one, but it gives her so much.
Hey. Her babyface persona had a personality, and that personality was dentist. That was the whole personality. Oh, fuck.
That's my point.
Donate to RAIN. Fuck Patreon. Donate to RAIN. Donate to your local women's shelter. Donate to your local Black Lives Matter. There's so many other places that need your support now other than us, y'all. I still got some stimulus money left. Go donate. Donate to bail funds. Holy shit, who are we tweeting? Oh god, Dylan's not here. Maybe, fuck, who should we... I'm waiting for chat to pop in because I know, oh man, Ghazi's usual go-tos can't be tweeted anymore. He'll be like, tweet Jimmy, Janela. Tweet Jimmy. Jimmy Janela.
Well, I mean, we could just tweet Britt Baker.
Yeah, we should. Hey, at Britt, what do we say? Hey, at Britt Baker.
Britt Baker.
Can you send me a picture of your teeth and we could just like see if Britt Baker will rate your grill?
Abso-fucking-lutely not. My teeth are absurdly horrible. Fuck you for asking.
Please, it'll be like when Gordon Ramsay roasts other people's food. It's just Britt Baker roasting people's grills.
Oh, fuck. No, you do it first. I'll do mine next week.
No, my teeth are equally bad. Okay, now I see how you feel. Now I understand. I don't want my grill getting called out on Twitter.
Hey, you won't get called out for your fucking snaggletooth that's stuck at the roof of your mouth.
Hey, Britt Baker, I'm sorry FTR didn't say hello to you. That's it. That's all I've got. Also, Abaddon does need Jesus.
Oh. No, that's fine. Look, this is not my game. I can't do it like Dylan does. I can't bring the fire.
Hashtag dentist watch. Okay. So, FMA brings up the saddest thing about NXT, which is the fact that my girl, Rhea Ripley, has been relegated to a comedy feud with Robert Stone, and I'm so fucking mad, because that's my girl. Okay. Should we start with baby faces? Because heels is going to lead into the end discussion.
Yeah, heels is going to be a lot of discussion, so I think we should take baby faces. And mine's going to be pretty short. And it also leads into my heel.
Okay.
But...
Oh, wait, do you want me to go first then? So you can go one to the other and jump across?
That's good. Yeah.
My baby face is Orange motherfucking Cassidy. Because he's a badass motherfucker. Let me put it this way. You remember the image of Becky after she got her nose broke and blood? That happened on AEW, but with Orange Cassidy, blood pouring down his ear. Because... Chris brought him out, and Chris cut a very good promo. He was just like, hey, why'd the chicken cross the road to get to the other side? And then he said it like 5 times. He goes, gets annoying, doesn't it? The same joke over and over again. That's what you are. And then he goes, if you expect to walk into Fyter Fest and kick me in the shins a couple of times and get your fun goofs, I'm going to knock your teeth down your throat and beat you in 30 seconds. And then... takes off Cassidy's sunglasses, breaks them, and then Cassidy pulls the microphone away, backs up, and I was like, are they gonna let Cassidy cut it? Because like they've let Cassidy talk a little bit. Are they gonna let him cut a promo? No. Motherfucker sets it on the ground, looks Jericho dead in the eye, and then starts doing the shin kicks to him. And then backs up, hits the shitty super kick, turns around, puts his hands in his pockets in a fucking defiant badass move. The goofiest spot in all of wrestling just got turned into the most powerful rebuke of Chris Jericho. And then it led to an absolutely brutal brawl all across Daly's Place Arena that consisted of Cassidy getting his ear busted out and then Superman punching Chris Jericho through a table. How do you punch a man through a table? Cassidy did it. It was so fucking choice.
This is Orange Cassidy using 1% of his power.
Yeah, he's like Shaggy. Yeah. I'm so
it was the fucking image of him just standing up and getting like just going back to 100% cool as his ear was just bleeding down his neck. Shit, man.
That's a great, very, very fucking choice. It was a very, very good moment to end on. FMA asks, we don't usually take questions, but I actually am curious how you feel about this one. Who has a better Superman punch, Roman Reigns or Orange Cassidy?
I mean, it's like you said, Cassidy's put a man through a table.
Yeah, well,
Roman's is a setup.
It's not just that it's a setup, and this is gonna sound a little bit weird, but Orange Cassidy's has more motion to it. Like Triple H used to talk about, oh, I grew my hair long, so that way when I get punched, it has more motion, so you feel it more. Orange is so gangly that when he fucking reins back and then lets go with it, it feels like his hand is moving farther than it does for Roman's.
Yeah, because, like, you look at it, like, he rears the fuck back. Like, you'd imagine that he's broken his shoulder at that point. He's, like, dislocated it with how much motion he gets.
Yeah, exactly. On to your babyface, though.
My babyface is Jon Moxley. Again,
the fucking
probably.
hero!
Fucking hero of the times. Who not only at first just had the, like, he was like, listen, y'all, I've had possible exposure to COVID. I know that there's been exposure, and I'm not going to risk myself, not going to risk y'all, not going to do that, so I can't show up, and I probably can't do this match. And it's just like, that's such a breath of fucking fresh air that it's like, man, that's amazing that you did that. I really like that. I know it sets the bar super low, but you're a good dude. But
Moxley is very good about coming, because you remember the Kenny match when it was first supposed to happen, when he got the dislocated shoulder, he was very good about being like, I don't want you to find this out from anybody else. I'm injured. I can't. It's kind of like old school ECW. They would come out and let you know if they were having fucking problems. There was no barrier between fan and Paul Heyman, but Mox is the same way. He's like, I'm gonna fucking tell you before anybody else. Like,
yeah, Mox is, he's really great about that. Also, he's had so much shit piled against him with, like, you know, the Hurricane, MRSA, this, like, so much in the last year or two. But also, the reason that he thought he was exposed is because...
Oh, wait, are you getting into heel really quick? Because I do want to bring up Dylan's...
I am. I want to say one thing, though. Well, what's your thing real quick?
I was going to bring up Dylan's babyface because I forgot he did want us to specifically talk about the Best Friends Kenny Page promo. That was the best fucking match promo because it was three people who could give less of a fuck in Kenny Omega. It was the Best Friends who their entire argument for why they were going to win the match is because Hangman drinks whiskey and Kenny drinks milk. And at the end of the promo, Hangman's just sitting there like, they're really good. They're like really good. We're gonna kick their ass, but they're like really fucking good. It's just, I loved it so much.
It's so fucking good. His attitude is just a beacon to me in everything that I want to be in a person who doesn't give a shit.
He's so adorable. He's like a little puppy. He's a human golden retriever. I love him so much.
But going back to my babyface for a bit, the reason that Mox, like, had his exposure and didn't want to, get anyone infected is because Renee Young tested positive for COVID-19 and he didn't want to leave her.
Yeah.
Like, he stayed with her during all of that, and, like, man, Moxley's ride or fucking die.
Yeah.
He's...
Can we talk about, because, like, Renee apparently was really bad, couldn't taste, had to sit down. Taz was brutal, though. Taz was like, you made up some bullshit excuse to stay away. And I'm like, I'll take it. I like it because it's just a heel way of being like, you should have been here, but whatever. I like that. But can I quickly discuss how me and you both found out, specifically me, found out about Renee Young having COVID?
Yes, please.
We were sitting there having a good time recording some episodes of JXT Wrestling. Check it out on the Fight Boys YouTube channel.
Yeah.
And we're waiting for a match to load, and all I hear is, no! And I froze in place. It said, yes, what has happened? And then all you said was Renee. And I thought, did Renee get, because I've been in a very speaking out mindset, so I'm like, did Renee get called out? Did Renee call someone out who hurt my girl, who hurt my sweet little girl Renee? Do we need to form the Mox Death Squad alongside Moxley to go take him out? And then you're just like, COVID. And I'm like, we're forming the Mox Death Squad to kill COVID?
Kill COVID.
Let's go do it.
Yeah, because it's like, and yeah, like from what, she said she couldn't taste. She's just like, it was a terrible 3 days. She's doing better now. But fuck, man, that is not something I would wish on my worst enemy.
I also just realized that my baby's sleeping in the next room, and I just screamed at the top of my lungs, and I really hope I didn't wake her up. Oopsie poopsies, oopsies.
So yeah, like, it was rough, which leads into my heel of the week. The fact that we found out that WWE had not been testing anybody that was coming to their tapings for weeks for COVID-19.
We talked about this last week a little bit, but then this week it just exploded because they have like 10 people who got positive.
I've only got 3 like confirmed, but like they according to Meltzer and some other sources, like, there are people in all branches of WWE that have tested positive now, so it's hard to think that it's not going to be with them for a while. The 3 big ones that I know of are Renee, of course, Adam Pearce, and...
What?
Yeah.
I didn't know Scrap Iron got it? Fuck!
Yeah, he got it. And Kayla Braxton.
Kyla!
Kyla! Get well soon, Kyla! Sorry.
Yeah, that's exactly... I sent the tweet to you guys and I said, Kyla! Get well soon!
But thankfully, I'm not sure about Pierce or Braxton, but I know at least Renee's doing better, and WWE has just cut any contact. No announcements, nothing. They have said absolutely nothing about this.
I did love Renee's tweet about it, though. She's like, I've had a hell of a fucking week. My show got canceled and then I got COVID.
God, that is a terrible week, though.
Yeah. And then apparently Kayla's now had it twice. Allegedly.
Yeah, what I think has possibly happened, and this is what they're studying, is that the virus has been shown to have a resurgence where you can test positive, then negative, then positive again, where the virus hasn't really left your system. So instead of it, like, getting a new infection, it's the same infection and your body just hasn't fought it off yet. Because there have been other cases where, like, that they're studying where people who have tested positive and then negative have tested positive again, but they can't find a correlation of if it's a new strain of infection in them or if they've gotten it again. And if it's the second one, y'all, it's real bad, because that means that your body can't make antibodies from the memory of the virus, which is
yeah,
but
man, the Adam Pearce one's fucking with me, because like Adam is like I firmly believe the NWA as it is would not exist today without Adam Pearce. He is the first person in a very long time to make like his I think it was 7 Layers of Hate rivalry with Colt Cabana over the NWA title is what brought it back to importance, and he's like 42. And I know that's not that old, but also if you're over 30 and get it, I'm always like, be careful.
Yeah. So like the fact that WWE through their not testing has led to this, which I mean, we always said that it would probably, or that there's definitely a possibility, but now it's starting to explode. We're getting positive tests and we're getting people that are getting really sick, and I really, like, knock on wood, like, all of my hopes go out, but somebody could die from this.
Yeah.
In WWE. And, like, because people have died from it.
And especially considering the fact that they've had, like, Ric fucking Flair at their tapings. I'm sure Vince has been at the tapings. I'm sure a lot of these older people have been at these tapings, and they were like, oh, it's fine. It ain't real. It's whatever. But like, on to my fucking heel of the week. And this is, as much as like the Mark Adam Haggerty one, and it destroyed me personally because I considered Mark a friend. Mark was helping with like behind the scenes on JWF and shit like that. It's the fact that when I wanted to be a wrestler, the first place and the original place I wanted to go study at, and the main person I wanted to be trained under was Mike Quackenbush. The first time I ever stepped into a wrestling ring was at the Wrestle Factory in Philadelphia. And the fact that, and this is both like, I don't want to say it's like a business lesson, but it is in somewhat. It is, because Mike Quackenbush was Chikara, and that's why Chikara now has to go under. And that's what makes me so mad. Like, if you look at a good example of trying to diversify who owns your thing is like the King of Random on YouTube. Grant Thompson passed away last year, unfortunately, but he knew. He was like, I want this to go on even when I'm gone. He had diversified to a point where even after he left, they still are making amazing content. And the fact that Mike was just so egotistical to say, this is mine, Chikara is mine. That meant every single problem that he had, every kind of mental fuck up that he had would get reflected into Chikara. It developed an abusive kind of place to be at. Like, because Mike wasn't the only one. Juan Francisco de Coronado got listed. Oh God, there was another guy that got listed. I wish I could remember his name. I can't. I think it was Cobalt. Cobalt got listed as one of those people. And when it came out, they were like, yeah, Quack is bad. But Quack also had numerous people. And I think Frightmare and Hallow Wicked got called out as well. And they were like, they also would, and I've not read anything to confirm them, so I don't want to demonize them while just coming up with people who've worked there. But like, Chikara was home for a lot of people, and Chikara for me was like the first time I realized wrestling doesn't have to be wrestling. Wrestling could be goofy. Wrestling could have these amazing, ridiculous matches of Chuck Taylor and Archibald Peck running around a fucking old school like bingo hall and posing for pictures in front of these massive paintings, or Icarus getting whipped in the head with a old towel. Like, it was this amazing place where it was family friendly, it was goofy, it showed you wrestling doesn't have to be this hyper masculine bullshit that WWE puts on. And the fact that it's gone now, and the fact that it's thanks to Quack and Quack's mistakes and Quack's biases getting moved down, and the fact that what we all thought Chikara was isn't what it was behind the scenes really killed me. Like, that hurt me more than anything else.
Because I think the biggest thing that's come out about this is, you know, Quack tried to use Chikara as his own personal playground. It was his, and he kept it his like a jealous toddler, to the point that now that he's going under, he's taking it with him, which is really, really sad, because my personal experiences with Chikara were like early clips of and matches that like really helped me get more into wrestling, because it's that fucking bingo hall and these fucking crazy ass ladder matches, or like spot fests, or fucking someone pulling out a grenade and just throwing it down and everybody jumping back like there's a fucking explosion. Chikara was fucking great, and it held a very specific niche in wrestling that, like, I don't know that you're gonna get someone else to fill that one for a while.
Yeah, and it was the fact that for a while they would let in like the Bullet Club. The Bullet Club were on King of Trios one year. Fucking Sami Callihan wrestled there once, then he said fuck, and they'd never let him back. But I think the damnation of Chikara, because like we all saw Chikara getting worse as the years went on, like especially since the season after they went dark for a year.
And Chikara, a lot of their main boys had left. Like a lot of their main talent was, going away.
Yeah, but I also think that was when Quack started to try to grip on as tightly as possible, and it made things even worse. Like that season after it was dark was kind of good. You had Icarus as like this conquering hero, this unlikely hero, because you never expect like the ultimate heel to be the good guy, but him fighting for Chikara and bringing it back. That was good, but then it just kept going more and more bizarre and harder to keep up with, and Chikara stopped doing these kind of like King of Trios where they would bring in people like the Bullet Club and like these big names to keep the attention on them, and it kind of kept failing from there and getting worse. And it sucks because I have friends who worked for Chikara. I mean, the first interview we ever did on this show was a guy from Chikara. Like it was all, and it sucks seeing these guys on Twitter now, like Frantic, who we interviewed on the show, was like, 3 years ago, I was suicidal, and the only thing that kept me from doing anything was pro wrestling, and specifically Chikara. And now that I don't have that, I don't know what to do. And I think it sounds ironic, but like Thor Ragnarok is what kept a lot of people going, because they had to keep using the quote, like, Chikara is not a place, Chikara is a people. And so I think you're going to have a resurgence of a lot of people on the indies now who are very passionate about telling unique, crazy stories, like Gentleman Jervis. I mean, Jervis escaped Chikara, for lack of a better term, and now he is taking the joy of what Chikara was, or at least what we thought it was, and is putting it on the indies.
Yeah, and I hope that the rest of the Chikara family can bring that to the indies as well, and especially like spread out and do their own thing in wrestling and kind of find a new place.
Apparently Cheeseburger has reached out and said any Chikara student, beginner or advanced, looking for a new training center is welcome to contact me in the Worldwide Dojo. That's good. That's a good guy. But I appreciate Chikara, that just sucks, man. Because like we all knew Quack was a bit of a shithead, and we knew it was coming eventually. But like there is that part of you that's like, well, maybe it'll get better. Maybe things will change. Maybe the things will change. But I think the issues with Chikara came to a lack of control, and or in Quack's case, trying to control too much, and it leading to some very negative things. Like, and I guess this is kind of our end of show discussion, which is, and I'm sure it's different in every single case, but like, what do we do moving forward to encourage a more welcoming and less dangerous place?
I don't know, because I was thinking about this, like with Chikara shutting down and with other promotions either being completely raided or losing so many big names. What does that mean for the big name of the indie wrestling scene right now, Like, what's going to happen with that? But in a grander scheme, what do you do to fix? And I think the biggest thing that you need to do is bring the terrible stuff to light. And
that's one thing, and I think we need to develop a bigger separation of character from person, because I think that is what a lot of guys get. I mean, Joey Ryan in his quote-unquote apology was like, I wanted to lead a rock and roll lifestyle, and I think it comes from these guys being like, well, Ric Flair was the best of all time, and Ric Flair would go from city to city, and he'd sleep with everybody he wants, and if Twitter existed back then, Ric Flair would not be as big as he is right now. I guarantee Rick has probably done some horrible shit.
Probably. I mean, that's that is the lifestyle that they led. The road style, like the golden age wrestler. And I think that maybe because it's hard to separate the character from the person at times, because a lot of times the character is the person turned up to 11 for the camera. But you see it with guys that end up being shitty people where they can have an entertaining wrestling persona. And it's just like, where you go from there, because you can have, and I think it's like that's a place where some of the most creative people will flourish, but a lot of people that can't separate that start to become their character, it's not going to be a place for them, or it shouldn't be a place for them.
I mean, that's why I've always liked Edge. Edge is like, I'm Adam Copeland. Edge is a fucking character I play. Edge ain't a fucking psychopath. Or, Adam Copeland is not a psychopath. Edge is a psychopath. Like, it helps him separate things to know that it's a role. I did a podcast interview recently on Pop Psych 101. Go check it out whenever that episode airs. But he's a therapist. And so we started talking about all this. He goes, how much do you think it comes down to lack of control? And I said, what do you mean? He goes, well, in WWE, how much say do they have over their character? How much say do they have over what they get to do? And I went, oh, like none. Unless you're like Roman Reigns or something. He goes, well, maybe they're seeking control through other means. And so I think it does come down to a bunch of people. Like, this happened with me when I got into wrestling. The minute I realized, like, oh, when I get to where I want to be, I'm not going to be getting to do the things I want to do. I'm not going to be able to be writing and performing and doing all of these different separate things. That's kind of what got me out of it, is the fact that I realized, oh, I'm not going to be able to do the shit I want to do. I'm basically going to be a meat puppet. And I think a lot of people are like me. They get into the business wanting to tell these amazing stories. And then once they don't get to, it's got to hurt them a little bit inside.
Yeah, because they want to make these characters they've got in their mind, and they want to, like, be this performer that they've always wanted to be and the character they've always wanted to be. But now it's... I think especially if you're in a WWE place, like, so much control is exerted over you that sometimes people will lash out and try to control everything under them that they see, or the things around them, in an unhealthy way, because they are being controlled in an unhealthy way. Honestly, like, from the very top, it is not a healthy system of control, and they have so little say because their voice isn't being heard.
I think it's a mixture of that. It's a mixture of the hard to separate the character from person. Like, the therapist guy was like, oh yeah, I know a guy who works out in LA and he talks to actors. After this happened, after the Heath Ledger situation with the Joker, but he was like, he'll talk to actors and make sure they can successfully slide out of their role. You don't get that in WWE. You are that dude over and over and over again. It's very dangerous. So I think it comes down to that. I think it comes down to the way we as people approach the concept of fame, because I think a lot of people are like, I want to get famous so that way I can get away with more stuff, I can do more things, I can go more places, I could be a fucking rock star. And that's not what it needs to be. Fame needs to be, and I hate using him, but The Rock, it needs to be, oh, that guy works his ass off, wakes up at 4 a.m, fucking clanging and banging all day, and he's someone you want to look up to be. And then, but there are too many celebrities who instead are like, I'm going to go out and cause a bunch of chaos and do these things to get in the fucking news so I seem important. It all boils down to wanting to seem important, because no one in the wrestling industry can be John Cena. No one can be The Rock. No one can be Ric Flair, but they want to try and they want to pretend. And that pretending leads them down fucking horrible roads.
Yep. And by the time they try to think they've exerted control, they have completely lost control.
Yeah. They fell into the character. And I think that's one of the big, dangerous things. I talked about it last week. I love big, crazy characters because you can guarantee that's not who the fuck they are. Like, I think I sent it to you guys where someone was like, with all this stuff coming on, I hope Warhorse isn't a shithead. And he goes, I fell in love with my soon-to-be wife 5 years ago, and I've never thought about cheating on her since. She is my light, my love, and she means more to me than anything. And I went, Warhorse!
Oh,
Warhorse!
Good. And then he posted a picture of him drinking out of a trash can.
I love him so much. God bless Warhorse. Hey, Blake, you want to know how fucked up this week is?
Yeah.
We didn't think to talk about The Undertaker retiring.
Fuck. Man, in any other time, that would have been big news. 5 years ago, that would have been massive news. But fuck, holy shit, I completely forgot about that because I was reading it earlier today in between all of this terrible stuff that was going on. I'm like, damn, okay.
I do think he kind of discounted it, though, because he was like, I have no desire to get back in a wrestling ring. But if Vince calls, that's enough for me to like, he's probably not out. He's
not out. No, that's like, okay, so yeah, that's a kind of shitty answer then. That's a non-answer.
Yeah, and it also, I think if we're going to talk about anybody feeling like they're controlled by Vince McMahon, Taker's probably up there. And I hate to say that because Taker is the American badass. He seems like his own man, but also, did you read about him in the falling out with Vince after StarCast?
No.
He was like, I got a call from Vince, and he says, what are you doing? And I said, I'm doing an autograph. I'm doing an autograph signing in Vegas. And he goes, they all think you're going to do this AEW pay-per-view. And he goes, and he was like, and Taker was like, if anybody knows me, they know I'm not leaving this company. I've always been a part of this company. There's no reason I'd leave. But Vince forced him to pull out of it because of that. And so, yeah, it was fucking rough. It was, Taker fucking retired, but also he's kind of a shithead from what I've seen recently. So,
He's also kind of a shithead, so I've so soured on my outlook of The Undertaker from when I started watching wrestling that it's not even funny, and it really makes me sad. So
you mean when they interviewed him and he was wearing a Blue Lives Matter shirt throughout the entire thing?
That one can fucking...
Meanwhile, old Stone Cold Steve Austin is like, wear a damn mask, and everyone in the comments is like, you'd think a rebel wouldn't do this, and he's like, fucking shut your damn mouth and wear the mask, you piece of shit, fuck you.
I fucking love that.
So, What did you learn this week, my boy?
I learned that even when everything is on fire and burning down around us, Britt Baker's notes are pretty cool.
And I learned that my partner that is gonna take on FTR and the Young Bucks is gonna they're already there. They're already fucking there. Ah, fuck. Just turn the fuck around. Ah, shit. Ah, fuck. Damn it.
They're behind us, aren't they?
They're right there, aren't they? Damn it. Oh, so where can people find you on the internet?
You can find me at Blake A. Tanner on the Twitter. You can find me as Darkroom Video on YouTube. And you can find me here on the BS Network doing shows like Fight Boys, A Load of BS, or Deviant.
Oh, I'm so excited for that second season, baby.
Yeah, I'm gonna need that to come along.
Yep, and you can find me on Twitter at Scottye Moore, SCOTTYEMO. If you need a guest for your podcast, hit me up. I'm trying to break a world record for the most podcast appearances in a single year. I'm up to like 135, and you could be next. So hit me up, slide into the DMs for that, and find all the other BS Network programs online at aloadofpurebs.com.
Special thanks to Mega Ran for our theme song, Fighters, from Mega Ran. Love Mega Ran. Give Mega Ran. Mega Ran is in all of our hearts and games.
I'm working hard to try to get on his show, Random Encounters. I'm working hard on that one. But of course, until next week, remember to send your support to the places that need it, ladies and gentlemen. Send that support to RAIN, to women's shelters, to fucking BLM protests. Go on Twitter. You will find places that need your support a lot more than the Fight Boys. And as always, you can find us at aloadofpurebs.com. Step up to the merch table at merch.aloadofpurebs.com. Find us on Facebook, donate to the Patreon, subscribe on YouTube, and remember to follow us on Twitter at Fight Boys Show, Britt Baker, because when you're a fight boy for life.